the moment we have all been waiting for, Amin.
Tony's top 10?
No, we'll get to that. That's
Top 5.
coming. Don't you worry. We'll get to Tony. But we have all been waiting with bated breath. Today's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. All right.
What took her so long?
The
She's here every
selection
week on
show
Wednesday.
was Sunday.
Chris, are you still the EP?
And she's finally here. There she
Because-
is.
Why didn't you guys just have me come in on Monday? I've gone through all 5 stages of grief now. I'm on to acceptance. That you do this every time.
Damn it.
After the Northern Illinois game last year, I wasn't in on Monday for some reason. This year, we know the selection show Sunday. You have me in 3 days. I've had 3 nights to sleep on this.
Why didn't we book her for the first step of the grieving process? I'm here on step 5. Oh!
Why is Lucy here?
I'm Mabel.
Maple syrup?
Oh, from Only Murders. I get it.
All right, Jess. Look, none of us have spoken to you. I've gotten text messages from friends. I've gotten messages on Twitter. I'm at Zazzle. Show him a great follow. And people are asking me, where is Jess? I want Smetana's tears. So let's start out with this, okay? Sunday, set us the scene. How did you experience Sunday afternoon?
I could not believe that after all of these years of fandom that I put into this thing, Baby Lando was the driver's championship of the 2025 Formula One season. I mean, I was bawling my eyes out. It was incredible. Thank you for asking.
Oh, this is a good. I've reprogrammed my brain to know that she's never going to give me anything. So when she does something like that, it's better than tears, honestly. Jess, I think your AD is actually knocking it out the park in terms of Bevacqua? Bevacqua's doing a great job at making Golden Domers happy. Yesterday, probably.
Is he?
He's making Notre Dame fans
Like
happy.
they like the way he has represented himself in the school?
I think it plays. I think Notre Dame fans are going to just dig their heels in more now. I think they feel like ESPN. Thank you, Danny. Not GQ. Danny B. That's who I am, Zaz. And I mean, I think they're just like Notre Dame fans already know everyone hates Notre Dame. I don't think this people are like, well, Notre Dame gave up the 1 hour of sympathy we're going to give them. It's like, oh, you mean people are going to not like my football team now?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I've never felt that before.
Yeah, I think of all the options, at least given his fan base a pound of flesh, because they have several rights to be upset here. Upset with the process, upset with Greg Sankey and the SEC's influence over it. But I think Pete was smart in seizing on the ACC thing, which, trust me, I've listened to all the content out there, Jess, including your interview on Echoes with Pete Bevacqua.
Was it good?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Look, all this content is great tent. Irish Breakdown, for me, that was the best one because they were legit pissed off.
Oh, yeah, that guy's angry.
Yeah, he was angry. But I think in a distant third, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, a distant third was the ACC shouldn't have sent out those mean tweets. And I think Pete has seized on that one thing, given his fan base a pound of flesh, and that is something that he can win because nobody minds punching at Jim Phillips. No one respects him.
Yeah, I think that, to me personally, this is where I think I diverge with Pete Bevacqua. I thought the tweets were honestly a little embarrassing given just how the ACC they have no followers on Twitter. If you look at their account, it has 90,000. It has less followers than me, and I have deleted Twitter from my phone for the last month. Versus the SEC, which has over 1 million, I'm pretty sure. So their kind of pathetic attempt to
the ACC has 93,000 followers on
bad.
Twitter.
That's really bad.
It's pretty bad. Again, it's fewer than me, and I don't use Twitter very much anymore. So I kind of thought the ACC thing. I understand why the money people are mad. That's kind of what he implied on our podcast.
The SEC has 798,000 followers.
So, anyways, I think that the money people are mad. I think the people that are in the room with the ACC administrators when they negotiate and all of that, it seems like those are the people that are mad, and Pete Bevacqua was wearing it. I don't think that that's the central issue that anyone has with any of this. I think that's just the big headline because obviously it ties into the Notre Dame conference independence conversation, which we're constantly having. I think the bigger issue is the weekly rankings shows. I think that that's something that, if Notre Dame had not been ranked 9th throughout most of the season, continued to win, and were left out in the final ranking, they are going to play in a bowl game. I don't think any of this goes down the way that it went down Sunday. So I think that that's where the frustration is. But I also think that's something that isn't unique to Notre Dame fans. I think, Mike, you've been saying all season, and Dan has been saying all season, what a farce the Tuesday shows are, and how you listen to the spokesperson for the committee talk, and the more they talk, the less you really have faith in what the actual process is.
Oh, 1,000%. Like the logic that he gave for Alabama leaping Notre Dame in the penultimate episode,
right,
which was just getting over the line over a 5-7 Auburn team because it was a rivalry game and because they went for it a couple of times.
Gutsy, yeah.
I think the real injustice here is that I do think Notre Dame kind of got caught. They were in the awkward situation because everything that I sampled, no one was like that comfortable arguing that Notre Dame should be in over Miami. A lot of the things that I heard was they should both be in. And they kind of got caught with their pants down a little bit because in the penultimate rankings, they were still ahead of Miami. They've been led to believe for a month that head-to-head wasn't going to matter, when really they should have spent that month campaigning against the likes of Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Alabama, because I truly believe Notre Dame to be a better team than those. But this was positioned because of how unjust disregarding head-to-head was as Miami Notre Dame, and by the time Saturday rolled around, you had Nick Saban, Kirk Herbstreit, Urban Meyer, everyone kind of coming out aligned saying Miami should be in if that's the case.
But that's where not playing in a conference kind of factors in, because no one's going to advocate for Notre Dame other than the athletics director and, Marcus Freeman and things like that, which I do want to say one caveat. I think that it's kind of lame that we've all accepted like public campaigning as part of the college football playoff selection committee. And like, I just don't like that shouldn't be a thing. I don't know. You can't obviously avoid going on the internet or watching ESPN if you're on the committee. But I do think that is part of the thing that's like, okay, why
does it work?
With this?
It shouldn't work.
Yeah.
That's why I was annoying everybody for a month, because I knew like every time I was like, is this tweet too much? No,
that's why for sure.
No, that is 100% why. No, I swear to God, no, that matters, and it's honestly like a blight on the entire system that stuff like that matters. Bullying works. We've seen public pressure. Getting your message out there influences those that have more influence.
Yeah, I think that's where being independent factors in, where you're not going to have your conference, Greg Sankey does a great job of, and with the help of ESPN, their partner, making the SEC games that are not big games feel like big games, right? Like they're able to prop up like a Missouri-Oklahoma game and be like, this was the big game this weekend. And I think Notre Dame understands that that's like the cost of doing business if you want to stay independent. So,
Jess, why does Bevacqua think that he has a leg to stand on when it comes to being critical of the ACC in this spot?
I think because he feels that Notre Dame is a good financial partner for ACC. They have the 5-game scheduling agreement, and he said in his press conference yesterday, ACC games on average sell out 23% of the time. When Notre Dame plays in them, they sell out 90% of the time. So it's his belief and Notre Dame's belief that they help the ACC make a lot of money, even though they're not full members.
But wouldn't the ACC benefit more from Miami or any other team in their conference making the postseason than Notre Dame?
Yeah, they'll actually get money from Miami making the postseason. Notre Dame got to keep all of the money that they made last year in their postseason run, which was $20 million reportedly. It's a lot of money. So yes, absolutely. And I think that this is this is where I think less of the issue is with the ACC and more of the issues with the College Football Playoff Committee, because when they expanded to the 12-team playoff, the thought process was, okay, we're finally going to get the 12 best teams, right? Like, we're finally going to get teams that can actually compete for a national championship. And I think it's very hard to argue that at the end of the season, Alabama is a team that can compete for a national championship. And it does fly in the face of something that was argued on Alabama's behalf in 2023 when Florida State was left out, which was, how are these teams playing at the end of the season? Well, Alabama's playing well. Florida State lost their quarterback. So that was really important 2 years ago. And now it's not as important in this ranking. And it's once again helped an SEC team get in. So I think that's why there's frustration with the process and with ESPN. And the fact that, like Mike said, like, you could have flipped Notre Dame and Miami last Tuesday after they both played their 12th game. And I think everyone would have been like, okay, well, Miami went 10-2. Didn't know if that would happen. Notre Dame went 10-2. Now we look at the 10-2s and we look at the 2s, and Miami beat Notre Dame, and that, you know, they should be ahead of Notre Dame. And I think that a lot of people would have accepted that at that point. But instead, Alabama moved up after beating Auburn, and then ultimately got destroyed in their conference championship game. The most lopsided conference championship game this past weekend. Didn't even go below Miami, who I believe, if by the committee's own logic, they should have. Miami should have had the higher seed in the playoff because they actually beat Florida State this year. And I think, you know, ultimately this is just a really, once again, an instance of a SEC team getting in that doesn't really have the best resume at the end of the season.
They rigged the game by moving Alabama up, I feel, because if Miami clears the Notre Dame hurdle, as you suggested in the penultimate episode, then everyone's viewing that SEC title performance with -3 rushing yards by Alabama as a direct comparison, Alabama-Notre Dame, instead of the cluster conversation that we were having. But it's also why Pete Bevacqua is very smart in changing the narrative around the ACC, because the problem here is Greg Sankey's influence over the College Football Playoff Committee, but Bevacqua's not going after Greg Sankey.
No, Notre Dame has scheduling agreements with a number of SEC teams over the next 12 years. I think doing business with the SEC is good for Notre Dame. So, yes, Mike, to your point, he specifically in his press conference yesterday said that he was texting Greg Sankey over the weekend, and he is a friend of his. So, yeah, I think you're not going to – I think what the ACC did when they were tweeting about Miami and Notre Dame was they picked a battle that they thought they could win, because Notre Dame is not going to really fight back. They're not, you know, they lost the game to Miami. Yeah. I mean, let's be frank. They lost in week 1. And I think that the ACC doesn't feel like they can pick a battle against the SEC and win. I think the ACC doesn't have a firm leg to stand on when their conference championship game is between 7-5 Duke and 10-2 Virginia. So I think that, like, they picked a battle they thought they could win. They ultimately won it, pissed off one of their partners. Whether or not they care about that remains to be seen. Whether or not anything really comes of it remains to be seen.
But Jess, it was overly sensitive. If you see the tweets in question, especially from a 90,000 followed account, like, they're just touting head to head. In fact, like, I heard a lot of podcasts saying they didn't take shots at Alabama. Yes, they did. They touted Miami's resume against Alabama too. I think, like, from the replay,
it was also replaying the game nonstop on ACC
why not?
Network.
Like, it almost felt like Notre Dame was trying to, like, the position after the fact in their anger was kind of directed, like, shame on you for shining light on the head-to-head matchup, which was kind of BS. Like, every Notre Dame, even BS. you, even you, Jess, like, on some of your content, like, you never argued that Notre Dame should be over Miami. It was kind of like, well, let's just see. Like, I heard the Shane Gillis interview. Like, I was kind of hoping they were going to screw Miami because I never felt comfortable making that argument. And I just think that this is more a Greg Sankey problem. He's talking to Hunter Yurachek, who's an AD of a school that's in his conference every day. And I think that you guys got boned by how this all played out. But I also think it's kind of soft to be punching down on Jim Phillips. What did you make of Brett Yormark's comments yesterday?
I think that it is, it's sad that it's punching down on a conference commissioner from one school's AD. I think that tells you everything you need to know about that. And yeah, Brett Yormark, he's obviously going to pick a popular side and try to make himself look good in all this. I don't care what he says about Pete Bevacqua. That's his opinion. That's fine.
Jessica, were you aware of the arrangement that Notre Dame has starting next year where they automatically get in if they're in the top 12?
It was gently reported on a few months back in The Athletic, I believe, and then I saw Ross Dellinger posted about it again. We asked Pete Bevacqua about it on our podcast, The Echoes. I saw Tony making fun of our podcast on Instagram earlier.
Me?
I do want to say my application to be a co-host on the crossover with Keon Dooling was denied. So this is the best I could do, Tony.
Guess why?
This podcast with Gojo.
Notre Dame fans. Keon doesn't like that.
Yeah. But I don't even remember your question. The memorandum of understanding.
About the automatic bid, being top 12.
Yeah, they still have to get into the top 12, which means they're probably going to have 10 or 11 wins on the season.
And aren't you worried that there might be guardrails against that? Like they'll just say, well, like if this season played out the same way, like, well, then we'll just put BYU there. If we really don't want Notre Dame, you can just rig the game a little bit. And even Pete was like, well, it's an understanding. It's implied, but they can do whatever they want with the top 12.
That's not exactly what he said. What he said was it's a memorandum of understanding, not a memorandum of sorta understanding. So I think that, I think that is not necessarily an outcome that they would anticipate and expect. But yeah, I mean, who knows? This would still mean that Notre Dame has to be ranked in the top 12, which is not a given in any year. So they still have to be at least, somewhat worthy of a playoff spot to even be in the conversation for that.
Jessica, how long did Gojo practice his serious face here on this picture?
I mean,
you know he does not have a serious face that comes naturally. This is
work.
You guys love doing like facial analysis of our podcast.
Yes.
Did you pose for this, or was this taken
No,
an
these
action
are just
shot?
like screenshots.
Jess, when you're so effective at not giving us a suffering, we're going to try to find it wherever we can. And
This
we
was
found
taken
it
at
in
the
Mike
funeral.
Golick Jr.'s Charles Barkley, we need to start a dialogue face.
I don't know. He kind of looks like he's doing like a little bit of a model blue steel thing. I think he looks good.
No, I didn't say
great
he doesn't look
co-host.
good. I'm just saying that he does not
I'm
own
trying
that
not
face.
to laugh at how silly this entire thing is. I
You
got the
do
first
you
lip
do look
going.
like you're on the verge of cracking right here.
Yeah. Anyways.
So a lot of the national story outside of the ACC Notre Dame stuff is Notre Dame opting out of the Pop-Tart Bowl. Jess, you have an ally with me here. I think that bowl game is ridiculous.
Oh, you're nuts.
No,
It's a
you're
great
not
game.
going to talk down on the
No,
Pop-Tart
you're
Bowl.
crazy.
You're
This is
talk down on the
insane. This
Pop-Tart
is
Bowl.
the worst game
Nobody
ever.
shut up.
Pop-Tart Bowl. I like Pop-Tarts. I happen to like
Entertainment.
May I
It's
speak?
delicious.
May I speak? I showed up late. Let me get a shot up. All right? I didn't want to be in that Pop-Tart Bowl last year because I was shut out. I understand. And to go to a Pop-Tart Bowl that just makes fun of the teams that are in it, ridiculous.
Mike,
ridiculous.
I knew you were gonna say this.
And as Jess, remember the narrative around the Pop-Tart Bowl last year. I had a month's worth of editorials and talking heads teeing off on Cam Ward because he had the gall, the temerity to sit out a half.
Sit out. Yeah, I know. I think that I'm a huge fan of the bowl games. I love the bowl games. The bowl games are some of my favorite times in the sports calendar. I personally don't think that Notre Dame opting out of the Pop-Tart Bowl spells the end of bowl games as we know them. I think that that's an overreaction. And B, I don't think it's a moral failing to not play in the Pop-Tart Bowl. The game is still going on. I think the way that I've seen people react to this is like the Pop-Tart Bowl's been canceled. But Amin, you should be psyched now because Georgia Tech gets to play in the Pop-Tart Bowl.
No, we were going to play in the Pop-Tart Bowl anyway. It's BYU that came in and said
No, it's
I mean,
ACC.
that's cute.
No, that's not true. That's
The
ridiculous.
ACC Big 12, yeah. But that, I mean, like, I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. I think that, like, if you're like, oh, Notre Dame, a bunch of losers are going to take their bat and ball and go home, like, okay, that's fine. I think that they just had to decide within like an hour of finding out they weren't in the playoff. And I think that the risk reward of playing in a bowl game is entirely up to your players and your team and the play. If I would say if the athletic director or Marcus Freeman made the choice for the players, I would be like, I don't know about that. Like if the players want to play in the game, you should probably let them play in the game. But we asked Pete Bevacqua on the show whose decision it was, and it was a player-driven decision. And I think the risk reward is just not really there.
I wasn't crazy about that
for a bowl game.
I wasn't crazy about how quick they were, and even if it were true, like,
Hey, you think it's true?
Even if it were true, that decision came down pretty quick. I'm sure they had a meeting. It might be. Let's just say it is. I don't want to call them liars.
I don't have any reason to believe that it's not.
I don't want to call them liars. Even if that is so, even if it was solely the player's decision, I thought it was kind of the bull as to put it all on the
That was the
player.
bull-
I think that was the bullshit. You come out and you go on that line with your players. We discussed it internally. The administration, the coaches, and the players all decided. I didn't like how they put it on the team captains whatsoever.
I mean,
I don't think that's putting it on the team captains. I think it's the opposite. I think it's like we trust our team captains and we give them agency in making decisions about like putting their bodies on the line in a
Spin
bowl
zone.
game.
Spin zone.
Mike, I mean, I think like this show in particular is one that I would say more often than not takes the side of player agency and player empowerment. Maybe that's wrong. So
Not now, though.
Not this
Okay,
time.
Not when it's Notre Dame. No. Like I said, even if it were so, I would like to see a little bit more alignment in every interview. It was quick to put it on the team captains.
I think
that.
I think it's way worse if the athletic director's like, we want to stick it to ESPN because they screwed
I'm not
it.
saying
I think
that.
that
I'm
I
not
think
saying
that's
that.
nonsense.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying don't
just
put it
thinking
solely on the players.
I think the worst case scenario is Notre Dame plays in the Pop-Tart Bowl and CJ Carr tears his ACL. And now we don't have to find out if that'll happen. So I think as a fan, you're like, I'm torn about it. Like if it were up to me, I would probably want to play in the bowl game, and I like to watch the football games. Like I said, I'd like to watch them have another game, and now the season's over, so I think that sucks. But I also don't think that it's quite as big of a deal as a lot of people are making it out to be, because it is a bowl game. Like the other comparison I've seen to Florida State, who got totally screwed in 2023, is like, well, then they played in their bowl game even though half of their team opted out. That was the Orange Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That was not the Pop-Tart Bowl. We don't have a New Year's Six bowl option for teams that don't make the playoff anymore.
I agree.
The Pop-Tart Bowl is like the premier bowl if you don't make the playoff. That's why it was going to be Notre Dame and BYU.
It's a great game.
And
If you were,
I don't think
it was one of my favorite games ever.
The players that grow up in this era do not remember a time when the bowls had importance. I would also add that.
Oh,
Like,
I'm
the
psyched.
bowls
I'm
have
psyched
been
that you're
like
doing
a
this.
fun side thing for most of these players' lives. And I think that if they don't want to play in it, then that's fine.
I'm psyched you're doing this because the Notre Dame brand is such that it calls to attention the whole bowl system right now, which I think needs incredible reform. Again, I'm down with Notre Dame's decision there. I'd like to thank you for being a good sport. Check out the Echoes podcast with Mike Golick Jr. and Jessica Smetana. They had Pete Bevacqua on. I think Pete Bevacqua was really good. And I liked your Marcus Freeman. Like, you didn't lead with a Marcus Freeman question there, but it sounds like Pete knows that he has to drop a bag on Marcus Freeman, as he alluded to in your interview, trying to make him one of the highest paid coaches in the sport. We have that comment from Pete Bevacqua. We've had some reporting saying, I think Pete Sampson said Marcus Freeman will be back in 2026. Yet if you look at some sports books, Marcus Freeman is the odds-on favorite to take over the New York Giants head coaching
Notre Dame
job.
was also a favorite to make the playoffs.
Minus 3,000.
So I don't know if I'm going to trust the sports book with human decisions, Mike. I would say this. If Marcus Freeman leaves, I know a head coach who's available. He has experience coaching at a high level. He's the winningest head coach in Notre Dame history. That's right. Brian Kelly, come on down.
And his family.
Jess, tell everyone again where they could catch your recent talk with Pete Bevacqua.
With the serious faces.
Yes, it's a very serious podcast. Look, I will say, we were the only podcast the Notre Dame athletic director went on this week. We had podcast exclusivity. So proud of me and Mike for doing this show.
Didn't he go on Dan Patrick?
I mean, are we
Yeah, I saw him on a few
differentiating like that
places. That's a
between
TV
radio
show.
and
They're all
podcast?
podcasts.
Okay, we're doing that. We're
Everything's a podcast now, Jess.
All right,
Semantics.
whatever.
He's starting his own, Bevacqua and Company.
I'm still proud of us for getting the interview.
No, that
guys.
was
It's
good.
a
No,
brand
no.
new podcast.
That was a big deal.
I've sampled it all. Your interview with Bevacqua was my favorite. Wow. I will admit that. No, I'm telling you. And it was
Of all the
level-headed.
podcasts.
It's a Bevacqua-Off.
And if you're listening for some tiers, I think Jess gave you like more emotion in that moment than
Well,
any
it was
other
Monday,
platform ever.
guys. It was Monday. Like, this is the thing. It's like you wait until Wednesday. It's like, all right, kind of moved on. I'm working on my Christmas baking situation now. I also want to say, hey, shout out to Miami electing a Democratic mayor. I heard last night.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good job, Billy Corbin,
That's a big
All
day.
Oh, 21,000 votes. We did it.
Miami.
That's how you win
Hey,
one.
the Cubans switched over. Shout out the Cubans.
14,
Oh yeah.
shout
Well,
out to
I know you all.
14%
I know
turnout.
you all voted for him.
Yeah. Well, we
Her.
were in.
It's not City of Miami.
Yeah,
so-
it's
Broward boy.
It's not even
over
a real.
here.
It's not even a real government.
Yeah.
Jess, excellent job. We're sorry to the audience that was hoping to drink your tears. Nonetheless, excellent appearance.
I once again, they only have you guys to blame. Next time, switch it to Monday.
You gonna rock this outfit
Chris.
the rest of the day? What are you thinking?
I think I look better as a brunette than I expected.
Uh-oh.
I definitely think you would not have given us anything on Monday.
Well, now you'll never know.
See you, Jess.
There's always
Go
next year.
Canes.
There you go.
I think that was fun, and I'm really deeply appreciative of our director cutting away from her about to put the U upside down. Oh, I'm so happy this happened to them.
Oh, man. This Bevacqua.
I listened. You guys traded Tyler Hero. I'm happy for that. Yeah. Well, you stopped short. But look, no one on South Florida radio has been telling the truth since 1983 like this guy. And I've been right about damn near everything about this franchise over the last 3 years. That guy needs to go.
I saw Windhorst came out, and Windhorst claims that Tyler Hero has screwed up Kello Ware and Jaime Jaquez's, quote, mojo.
I saw that too. What a report by Wendy.
Quote, Ware and Jaquez had bigger roles before Hero came back and playing great. Since that has happened, in addition to the league catching up, them two have lost their mojo.
Jeremy's saying that's not a report back here.
Well, the in addition is doing a lot of lifting there. The league caught up.
Jeremy, you have to, you're just like,
Come
okay, the
on,
last
dude.
6 games
This
with
played
Hero,
out exactly
they've
how we
looked
said.
different, but it's not here. You got to just acknowledge it hasn't looked good since Hero's been back.
It hasn't looked good since Hero's been back, outside of the time that they scored 140 points and the starting lineup took a 20-0 lead yesterday. The lineup has been good.
15-0.
The bench has really struggled, and that's a matter of several different players. I was saying to Amin during a break, I personally think that what they should be able to do is have Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero playing more with the second unit, because if the two of them are able to play with the second unit, then that means you'd be able to have what's happening? Will you be able
to have ultimately
the ability to see
Khalil Ware play a little bit more with the starters, which is where he really was thriving earlier in the season. And when Khalil Ware
was more engaged?
Right? He's able to be engaged with that starting unit. If you get him going early,
That's when you know you'll be able to have more success with him. Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero are guys who can
play with
several different kinds of players. So if they're playing off of one another with that second
unit, it might be able to help fix some of what's been going on.
Wait, Lucy's here?
I like Force Ghost Jeremy the best. I was like, oh, I'm having a vision. Yeah, look, Killer Ware, his problems are his consistency. I don't think that's a Tyler Hero thing. I think that's a Killer Ware thing. Jaquez, look, man, that's one of those things. You know how they talk about Miami? You guys always think your guys are better than they actually are. Jaquez is one of those to me. He's just, every time I watch him play, I'm like, I didn't like that.
He was a former reigning MVP of the day.
Yeah, and he could be a 2-time if he has another great game one night. No telling that he can't win it again.
Guys, this is the most obvious thing in the world. It's been staring at you for 3 seasons. And I know he had an unbelievable bubble run where he kind of introduced himself to the NBA inside that bubble, but the Miami Heat go on these runs. The Miami Heat go on these runs without Tyler Hero. The Miami Heat seem to do just fine without their all-star. I understand he's a talented scorer, but for this system, under this head coach, he's a luxury that they don't really need. And I think he stands in the way of real progress for this franchise. And lucky for the Miami Heat, I do think he has value.
Mike, I'm a little confused here. Are you implying there's some circles or corners of at least Miami Heatdom where they're like, not Tyler Hero, he's a keeper?
Yeah,
I've never heard
that in that corner.
Man, he's not allowed to talk about
That's
that.
not quite what I'm doing.
Oh.
I'm just trying to discuss where it really
bathroom?
works for
this group, right? With this group, having Tyler Hero is in some ways
It's
a luxury
redundant.
offensively. There
Are redundancies there that exist within the way that this roster is constructed. But if you're going to take advantage of the roster that exists, you need to be able to figure out rotationally where to stagger which players. And ultimately, having Tyler run that second unit, it hides some of the issues that Jaime Jaquez has been having, right? He's been best in the open court when your defense is playing well and getting out in transition. Well, the defense hasn't been able to stop anybody with the second unit. They're missing a lot of open shots. And when that happens, the thing that he's able to do in getting to the rim in the open court, it becomes
a much bigger problem, and Tyler's able to fix some of those things offensively.
Trista Crick, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome. It also feels like his best situation is being a great asset as a trade piece, right? Because you look across the league and you're like, all right, who's somebody that can fill a very good void of contract, of playing style for a bad team if you want to get cap cap space on the books, or trade for a great player that somebody else will take and be like, yeah, I'll take him.
That's all he's been the whole time since he signed that deal. It was just like, this is the guy that you throw into a deal. Whether it was Damian Lillard, whether it was Kevin Durant, now it's Giannis. That's
Or
all.
Ja.
That's why I'm a little confused. Mike is like, oh, I told you about Tyler Hero. Nobody out here talking about he's a keeper like that.
You're right, but the narrative has shifted some as the data points start to mount up. Look, he's a nice scorer. I think that there are certainly teams in the NBA that his skill set is required and needed if they want to advance. I just don't think it's down here. I'll do the Colin Cowherd hand.
He's a great number 3.
Tyler Hero. We're good, bro.
Can I tell you what took place real quick while we were talking to Jessica there as Amin got very distracted? Amin, dare I say Amin was shook, all right?
I was.
Now, you guys know I'm going to Washington, D.C. this weekend. I'm going to Saturday
happening
night's
there? Oh,
main event. John Cena's last match
yeah.
this Saturday night is in the nation's capital. I'm
Cash
going,
some stocks and bonds?
don't you worry, all right? Stop counting what's in my pocket. So I'm going on Saturday. And ESPN's doing all kinds of promotions. So on First Take moments ago, they had Gunther in studio with them. Gunther is facing John Cena in his last match this Saturday.
Is that a marquee matchup? I thought
Yeah,
the
it's
last
good.
one would be like going out with some fireworks.
No, it's good.
I don't know that fool.
It's
Yeah,
good.
never heard of him.
You don't have to know him.
In his last act, or presumed last act, will John Cena finally put someone over?
So I think it's a big deal. I like it. Gunther was in studio. Great. They flashed on the screen. Now, this is kind of old news because Stephen A. Smith debuted this a few months ago, like at the beginning of WWE and ESPN's partnership, which began over the summer. And Amin was shook when they flashed across the screen Stephen A. Smith's top 5 wrestlers of all time.
Now, guys, I am a wrestling outsider, maybe even an enemy of wrestling, according to some people. But I looked at his list, and I said, that can't be right. This has to be a typo.
It's an embarrassment of a list.
Or something. Should we reveal the whole list or just go right to number 1?
No, you just say number 1.
Guess. I want a guess from you guys.
I have experience with Stephen A's top 5 list when it comes to wrestling.
It's horrific.
Did they rehash it?
Yeah.
Is it the same?
Yeah.
Is it? Did this person play for the Atlanta Falcons
Yeah.
at one point?
Yeah.
Oh. It's Goldberg.
Yeah, number 1.
Goldberg sucks.
And it's not
Number 1?
It's not Stephen A. Smith's all-time favorite wrestlers. It's Stephen A. Smith's greatest wrestlers of all time.
On the Stephen A. front, I heard one of his rants yesterday. I caught it on social media. The name Pete Bevacqua was made to come out of that mouth with disdain. I mean, Bevacqua. Yeah. It is.
Has it overtaken Rasho Nestero?
Tiago Splitter. It's in the class. Bevacqua.
Slava Medvedenko.
Yeah.
Tony, I heard you got a top 5 for us today.
I got my official top 5, Zaz. And Tony's Top 5 is presented by Smirnoff, the official vodka sponsor of the National Football League. Smirnoff, please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company. New York, New York. Vodka, 40% alcohol by volume. No OLIs today. We're going to go straight to the top 5. Number 5. I love the annual Bills versus Bengals snow game. It always delivers. There's something about it. You see those two teams, except the last time when, obviously something happened in the middle of the field that wasn't snowing that day. But every time they played in the snow, it's been a game that's delivered.
I've never in my life, look, I've lived here in South Florida my entire life. I've never been to a cold weather football game. Like, I can't imagine sitting in the stands for 3 and
it's fun.
Because it's not like you're moving around, staying warm. You're just standing in the snow
Zaz,
for 3.5 hours.
Something you're forgetting. You're hammered.
Yeah. You need to drink a lot at the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl to not feel it.
Get the hand warmers going. I'm telling you, it's fun. Obviously, I wouldn't want to do it every game, but once every couple of years, fun.
Number 4, RIP to the Chiefs. It was a great run.
It's official?
It's over. You lose to the Texans on Sunday Night Football.
At home?
That's why Nick Wright came out on a gurney smoking a, whatever it was, a Marlboro Silver.
That was awkward with Nick.
I put Nick in a body bag with that LeBron comment.
Wow. You got his ass when you said he was 4 for 17.
And everyone knows I'm always on the record.
That is true. Number 3, I think the Jags may have a legitimate real shot to win the AFC.
Dude, them and the Bills, right? I mean,
I just,
who else is it?
It's just you look around the league and it's like, who's here? Who's still around? The Broncos, maybe. The Patriots, maybe. Like, the Jags can get hot and something can happen. I don't know. They could win the AFC.
Is Amin okay?
I mean, like...
No.
He gave us
He's
a
fighting hard right
Medvedenko.
now.
I've been dying for a fake Stephen A. Bevacqua, but he's done.
He's fighting through. He's fighting through right now.
Like right now, Tony, the first round of the playoffs, Jacksonville would host Buffalo. You think they'll win that game?
Anything can happen. Bad Josh game. They get the ground game going with ETN.
To Tony's point, though, outside of Buffalo, who do you trust more than them?
Maybe the Broncos defensively, but like you don't super trust Bo Nix.
I would trust. I think New England will beat them.
New England, maybe. Yeah. But
All right. So far, most of the field we believe.
No,
is
but
gonna
I
be Jacksonville.
disagree. I don't think, like, New England, yes, they look good in this regular season. We haven't seen them do it in the playoffs yet.
I think the Jags can get hot. Number 2. Someone please take a look at the Raiders kicking a field goal with no time left on the clock while backdoor covering 7.5. Let's take a look at it.
At least you're not calling for murder.
I'm not calling for murder, not yet. But somebody should take a look at that because...
Careful.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Number 1, very quick, Bears frauds. It's over.
That's
They're not doing anything in the playoffs.
I'm not with you.
They're
Well,
done.
okay, those are two different things.
They're frauds. They're not doing anything in the playoffs. Same thing.
You saw Jordan Love on McAfee rocking the Toyota-thon
I did.
quarter zip.
He knows what he's doing. He knows
Oh my
what he's
God,
doing.
he knows.
He knows what he's doing. And guess what? He's starting to play well.
Of course he is. It's Toyota-thon.
Good job, Tony.
Thank you, buddy.
So we did a little bit of this with Dan earlier. Dan's up in New York City, of course, and
Little bit of this, little bit of that.
He's back.
Yeah.
So Rich Paul and Max Kellerman have a new podcast, right? It must be new because
Yes,
Kellerman's out of hiding. You know?
It's brand new.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear pairings like that, I'm always thinking to myself, how many episodes are we getting in?
Well, I just wonder how did that come about?
I think Bill Simmons had something to do with it. I think he pitched this whole thing. He's got some connections behind the scenes.
Like he says to Kellerman, hey, I think would be willing to do a show with you.
Yeah, like, hey, Max, you're about to come out of, whatever that contract hiatus that was. And, hey, you should do something with Rich. Rich, you know what? You've always respected Max. You guys should do something together. I'm just like, these guys are busy guys. They're not doing a podcast.
Well, how many times is it supposed to come out? Is it like a once a week kind of deal, I imagine?
Even if it's once a week.
Yeah. So, like, are you
I bet you it's one of those season situations where they'll do like a bunch of them. That's season 1, and then do like another season.
Like, are you surprised?
That makes sense.
Like, are you surprised that LeBron is still doing these episodes of the Mind the Game? I think he's doing it with Steve Nash, right?
Yeah, he is. I am surprised a little bit because also there's a video component to that in terms of talking about plays and stuff, but he seems to be committed to it, so.
So
Jeremy's connecting dots with all of this.
I'm
by the
telling
way.
you guys, this Rich Paul and LeBron narrative all around, Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, it's not happening for no reason.
Yeah, Jeremy's been like obsessed for a few weeks now with how LeBron, and now it's Rich Paul, any opportunity they have to give the Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra praise,
Yeah, that's right.
you're like marking it down.
I mean, it's happening constantly. Everywhere you look, was there a cat? Everywhere you look, every time they're talking about one team or another, they're ultimately also just squeezing in, hey, right before LeBron comes back and he's playing, was that Lil Jon? Right before LeBron comes back and he's talking to the media.
He's saying, oh, I can play anywhere. I'm going to fit into what's happening with the Los Angeles Lakers. Why? Coach Eric Spoelstra always said it, positionless basketball. I can play for any franchise in the NBA. Now, Rich Paul, when talking about what's going on with the Lakers, and them maybe not being a championship contender, what does he do? He singles out Pat Riley and the competitiveness that the Heat always had.
That
no
this
matter
is
what.
the way they do things.
This is how they've always done things. Why does it surprise you? It just has me asking.
Has you asking?
Hit the button.
Has you asking?
What are they doing?
Okay. So, Rich Paul, a couple things stood out to me, and we talked a little bit about it earlier. Well, the first one, which we played earlier, it was Rich Paul was not critical, but just straight up saying the Lakers, who are second in the West right now and are playing tonight in the NBA Cup against the Spurs, that they are not a championship contender. All right. I thought that was interesting. And you wonder, what's the MO there, because Rich Paul and, who's, a mouthpiece for LeBron most of the time anyway, like they don't say things not on purpose.
Who says this show doesn't have a female voice?
Happy to fill the role.
So another thing that stood out to me, Amin, was here is Rich Paul, again, with Max Kellerman, and Rich Paul is seemingly telling you the way that LeBron, right now with the Lakers, the way LeBron should be used.
There's a couple things to be made, changes to be made in the short and the long. In the short, I'm putting LeBron as the screener because, no offense to Ayton or Jackson Hayes, they're just not the decision maker coming out of the pick and roll.
It makes it hard. If you have Luka and LeBron in those roles,
what I'm saying.
Because now, LeBron is overqualified for that role.
But now all you need in that case, we've seen it, the guy in the dunker spot, and then the guy in the short corner, if they make shots, then you're very tough to beat.
So I always take a pretty simplistic view on this kind of stuff. I mean, for one, JJ Redick has done a really nice job by all accounts with this Laker team. Like overachieving right now, 17-6. You telling me Rich Paul is saying something here that JJ Redick hasn't thought about?
No, I think he's saying something that he probably wants to be more on the forefront and wants to apply pressure to J.J. Redick in that regard. The idea is look, it's not that J.J. doesn't know it, or that even that J.J. thinks it's a bad idea. But I remember when Steve Kerr, when they first did the death lineup with Iguodala in the lineup and Draymond at the 5 and Harrison Barnes at the 4, and the plus-minus was off the charts, but Steve Kerr would never do it until they got in the playoff games and all that. And they're like, why don't you do it all the time? Why isn't that your starting lineup? He's like, because that's not a card I want to play in the middle of December, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a card you play Game 6 or whatever.
Yeah, there's a reason.
And so similarly, I would think the last thing you want is for the league to get tape on LeBron as a screener and how the Lakers do things. That's something you hold in your back pocket for another time, for a time where there's less preparation and more stakes at hand.
Or is it also sowing the seeds a little bit for why LeBron eventually will not be pleased with his, new role in LA?
But, I mean, you look at their team. They're second in the West in a really tough West. LeBron hasn't played. Luka and more so AR have carried that team to a 17-6 record. And it's like, LeBron, you got to get in where you fit in. And if it's playing the dunker spot, if it's playing pick and roll, if it's playing that, he's very equipped. Like he said, overqualified to be in that position. So why not use it?
Let me ask everybody a question then. What's more important to LeBron at this stage in his career? Being a role player on a Lakers team that apparently has a shot at winning a title, or being the main attraction for one last postseason run?
I wonder where he might want to do that.
For a team that has no shot?
In the Eastern Conference, if LeBron James is here in exchange for not a lot?
Yeah, but for a team with no shot, that means there's only upside. There's some downside now with this Laker team. They're second in the Western Conference. They get to the postseason, LeBron doesn't play well. It's
Jeremy just did the trade machine. It's Hero. Who was it? It was Hero.
I didn't trade anybody.
Yeah, but come on. It was Gabe Vincent and LeBron for Hero and
Hero
Rozier.
and Rozier, salary-wise, works for LeBron and Gabe Vincent if you're adding a couple of picks. There's expiring stuff, and if the Lakers wanted to add another score
Does that
to what
fix
it is
anything?
that they're doing.
Does
No,
that
if they're
fix
just
anything?
trying to add another score off the bench. Are you saying does it fix anything for Miami?
Correct. Does that fix anything for Miami?
Yeah, it's certainly another decision-maker with that bench lineup.
And it gives the Lakers another white guy who can score.
That's true.
Jake LaRavia is getting real lonely out there. It's like, Austin and Luka, they're cool together. I'm by myself here. Maxi Kleber never plays. And also, he's from another country.
You really think, because he's chasing the Michael Jordan thing, right? He's chasing ghosts. Regardless of his impact on that, you could always frame it like LeBron was in his 40s when they won that title. If he wins another one, don't you think that would go further than him just being the man on a Miami Heat team that may get bounced in the second round?
No, he's got to win one where it's it's clearly it was you. But I told you guys already where that's going to happen, and it's not Miami. I don't even think it's Cleveland either. There's only one place where LeBron can land.
New York.
Win a championship and have it count for 1 million championships. It's New York. There's no other location.
All right, that's fine. So then Giannis can come here instead of New York.
Sure. You want to trade Tyler Hero and what? Terry Rozier
We'll
for
give him
Giannis?
Jovic.
Come on, that seems like a good one. You're throwing in Jovic?
Ooh, man, that's tough.
Throwing anybody.
Sometimes you acquire big stars. It's got to hurt a little bit.
It's the holiday season, and it is the 50th anniversary of Miller Lite, which means a lot of my favorite memories start the same way. I bring out a cornucopia of beautiful white Miller Lite cans, and I spread that holiday cheer. Ah, Miller Lite, holiday season. You crack open a Miller Lite, you look around, you look at your friends, you look at your family. You take that first sip, and you know you made the right call. Miller Lite just fits. It's taste that you know you can depend on. Brewed for flavor with simple ingredients like malted barley, rich balanced toffee notes, and that iconic golden color. Almost festive in a way. And at 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces, it lets you enjoy the season without weighing you down. The original light beer since 1975 and still hitting different 50 years later. The best holiday beers are the ones you don't expect. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. 'Tis Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories at 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
So we do have the Western Conference side of the NBA Cup tonight. In the Eastern side, you got New York and Orlando. Are you into that?
I'm into that. I'm a little upset as I'm watching that game. Yesterday, you talked about 6 p.m. being the Lord's start time.
Oh,
I'm watching that game, and I'm like, why did they start so early? And I was like, oh, it's because Knicks-Raptors, also an Eastern time zone game, so they had to do them. I was like, okay. Then I was like, what's tomorrow's games? 2 Western Conference games? Hey, Amazon, I know you're new to this, but typically this is what we do. The East Coast game is the early game. The West Coast game is the late game. And then you do it again the next day.
So why'd they do that?
I think it's first time at the rodeo.
To make it fair, so you
Fair
have the
for
same
who?
amount of days of rest. Teams are going to be playing a couple days later.
They're all playing on Saturday.
They did it yesterday. East. We started at 6 Heat, and then there was 2 East
You
games.
can
yesterday.
I know,
stagger this way
Chris,
easier.
They're both like the semifinals. The next game is on Saturday.
Right.
So basically, Oklahoma City and Phoenix and the Spurs and Lakers, they're playing on Saturday anyway.
Right, but they'll play each other, right? So both Western Conference teams will have the same amount of rest. Both Eastern Conference teams will have the same amount of rest.
It's one day.
It's basketball. What are we doing?
If the Pistons and Knicks played tonight on Saturday, they would have one less day of rest than the Magic Heat game.
This is the playoffs, okay? They're not going to have playoff teams play against each other with different amounts of rest. Imagine if between games 2 and 3 of a first-round playoff series between it's the Knicks and the Magic here, if they just had the Knicks play another game in between.
No, we do this all the time. What are you guys talking about? There's sometimes in the playoffs where teams are playing game 3 before the other series has even got a game 2.
Yeah.
Like, this is not new, the idea that, they had one extra day of rest before we had to play them in the next playoff game. That happens all the time.
You know, I'll tell you, really, for the first time, because it was the Heat playing, I was dialed into the NBA on Prime pregame show, the studio show. I think it's pretty good.
Good show, right? Yeah.
Good show. They
I think
do a
it's
good job.
pretty
I saw a
good.
clip of UD and Halliburton talking about wrestling.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you know, Blake Griffin asks good questions. Like, he's good on that show.
They're all really good. Again, I have to point this out. UD, before he retired, I remember asking him, do you think you're going to get into media? And he looked like I spat in his face. And now this guy's everywhere. And he's good at it, of course.
Yep.
But I'm just a little like, hold on now.
Why'd you play me like that?
Yeah, like, I would never do that.
So tonight, Suns, Thunder, Spurs, Lakers. I don't think we got Wembanyama, right? I think he's
No
out.
Wemby.
Yeah, so you got to figure Lakers there.
Well, Spurs have been playing well without Wemby.
They have.
Thunder, though, right? It was last year now look, the Thunder weren't 23-1 going into the NBA Cup last year, but the Thunder were cruising last year too. I remember they had that dud of a game in the NBA Cup and they lost.
They were cruising for a bruising, some might say.
All right.
No! Okay, maybe not.
Thought it was a play on.
Jeremy, you got some polls for us today? What do we got? Let's catch up on all the polls.
All right, Big Fat White Face. Is Fontecchio going to make a shot? 69.3% of the audience says no.
No.
Y'all turned on him so fast.
But what is he? What is he? Seriously, what is he? Like 8 for 90 from
Yeah,
3?
you know what? A guy who makes 0 shots, I turn on.
I'm pretty sure he's Italian.
Is being too open a thing in basketball? 73% of the audience says yes.
It is a thing.
It is.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yo,
Did you know that Phillip Rivers was a starter in college football when Bill Clinton was president? 63% of the audience says no.
pre 9/11, folks?
Whoa.
So when 9/11 happened, Phillip Rivers was well into his sophomore season.
He was in his dorm room like, oh, shit.
yeah.
I remember that game against Chris Winkie.
Who was like 35.
Yeah. He's a coach now, right? Isn't Chris Winkie a coach somewhere?
Sure.
He's like a
He's on
quarterback coach.
AARP
I think
now.
he's one of the guys who trains the college quarterbacks.
I think he does that because when I was guest booking for this show, he was like working for a financial advisor, like a brokerage firm, as his look would kind of require in life.
Yeah. All right.
He literally coaches your team.
He is the assistant head coach, co-offensive coordinator, and QB coach at Georgia Tech.
Told y'all.
It's more of a full-time gig.
That's amazing.
He wasn't at all locked in. You can admit it now.
I knew he was a coach
You
somewhere.
weren't at all locked in on
I
the
knew.
Ramblin' Wreck.
What? I'm teaching you guys things.